What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at y'all with another video. So this video is probably going to be one of the most important videos I ever record and post on my channel. So I need you guys to really watch this video until the very end. I need you to lock in. If you have a notebook and a pen to take notes, I highly recommend you do so, because I promise you I am going to be giving you gems, right? This video is so important because I'm going to be combining so many different topics that can all be separate videos, and I'm sprinkling it into this one video so that it can all make sense, right? I want to really nail the main idea of this video, which is information changes circumstances. Now I'm going to repeat it once again. Information changes circumstances, right? Now, I want to first start off by explaining that concept logically, right? Where someone is right now in their lives is a culmination of all of the thoughts that they've had, all of the decisions that they made, their attitude, right, etc. Everything that they've thought about their lives, right, it has led them to that moment, to where they're at right now. If that person does not ever go on a journey to seek new information, it is extremely likely, if not almost guaranteed, that they will remain in the same position that they're in. Because what you need to understand is life is a game of knowledge. Life is a game of information. If you want to succeed in this lifetime, you need to constantly, always be on a journey for knowledge. That needs to be your quest each and every day, right? Because what you need to understand about yourself, just like you feed your body each and every day when you wake up in order to survive, you also need to feed your mind, right? You can feed your mind the same information, or you can feed your mind with new information, right? But it's you ultimately have the power to decide what it is that you feed your mind with. Most people who feel as though they're quote unquote stuck in life is because in many cases they've long stopped. For a long time they've stopped on their journey or on their quest for knowledge, right? They've given up, right? Because many people, they feel as though after they finish school that that's it, their learning is done. They don't ever need to pick up a book. They don't ever need to listen to an audio. They don't ever need to go to a seminar or purchase a course, any of that stuff, right? They believe that school is over, and now as an adult you just have to work, and that's all there is to it, right? But what most people fail to realize is where they're at versus where it is they want to be, right? Because everyone, I like to think, has goals, dreams, and aspirations, right? Oftentimes the gap, right, between where it is that you're at versus where it is that you want to be and dream of being, oftentimes the gap in between those two places is simply information, right? And you could think I'm crazy or that this is silly, but what you need to understand is, for example, there's been numerous multimillionaires, even billionaires, that have been interviewed, asking them how they've obtained their riches, right? Their financial wealth. And then they get asked the question, if you were to lose it all, or if it were to all be taken away from you, would you be able to return to the same position that you're in? And every single one of the multimillionaires and billionaires said yes. That there's no doubt in their minds that they will return exactly to where they are. If all of their money and material wealth were to be stripped of them in this moment, they will still make it back to exactly to where it is that they're at. That is because of knowledge and information. See, many people were led to believe that hard work alone is what's going to bring material wealth and financial riches, when we know that that's not true. It's not true, right? Because you can work, right? And we all know people who have worked for many years, who have worked ridiculous hours, who may sacrifice away from their family to work and to make ends meet. And there's nothing wrong with, making ends meet. I understand everyone's in their own situation, but people truly believe that working hard is the answer and the solution. And yet it still seems as though they've been in the same position and nothing has really changed for them. What you need to understand is in order for things in your life to change, you're going to have to change things in your life, right? If you've been doing the same thing and it's led you to where it is that you're at right now, if you continue doing the same thing, what makes you think that your life is ever going to change, right? And most people are completely oblivious to that notion, right? If you were to obtain new information, see, Jim Rohn, right? The late great Jim Rohn, he was one of the experts in the personal development space, right? He had a quote that was very profound. He says the following, and I quote, "Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job." And that's the truth that he learned from his mentor, right? And it is the truth, right? Because oftentimes people work so hard at their occupation, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to excel, right? Because I was one of those people, right? I wanted to put out my best work and do the best job that I could, right? That's just who I am and how I'm wired. But the problem with working so hard at your job and not on yourself is that you begin to let yourself go and you continue to remain the same person outside of your occupation. And for a lot of people, they can remain in their same role, in their same position, even though year after year after year, decade after decade will go by, still receiving the same compensation and nothing has changed. I think everyone living in his lifetime wants to live out their goals and their dreams. They want to experience these things. And it's because for a lot of people, they don't see change in their life because they're only invested in their job. And then when they get out of work, right, they typically just head home and entertain themselves for the whole night, right? So at no point did this person ever seek new information. If you don't seek new information, right, how do you expect to change? It is unlikely for you to change, right? And your beliefs will likely remain intact and you'll be operating based on your beliefs because your beliefs are what controls you, right? You make decisions because of the thoughts that you think, and your beliefs are simply thoughts that you think over and over and over. So if you're not acquiring new information, you're simply thinking the thoughts that you already know, right? You're already thinking of the same information that's already in your head. And all the information that you've learned got you to the position that you're in right now. So how do you expect things to change if you don't ever go on a quest to acquire new information? So this is what I mean. Information changes circumstances because life is a game of information. The people who have access to the right information can be the people that win. And that's why information can change your circumstance, because if you are on a quest to seek new information, you are coming across new ideas that can challenge your previous way of thinking, and your previous beliefs that you used to think were true can fall flat on its face. And so if now you have new beliefs and new thoughts, now you can operate from a different perspective and you can now see things from a different vantage point. And this is the major shift that has happened in me. Where I am now in my life, I can't go back to who I once were, right? Not that I was in a bad person or a bad place, but it's just I've grown so much as a person now. I see myself and the world differently. And there's no way that I can ever go back to being oblivious how I used to, right? I understand that life is a game. It's going to be a lifelong journey for knowledge. The people who understand this, who are constantly on a quest for knowledge, are the people that are going to continue growing and expanding, and these are the people that are going to win. Now, I'm going to share with you guys an example to help crystallize this. So there's someone that's important to me that I've known for well over 20 years, right? Well over 2 decades. And I remember I had a conversation with this person not so long ago, and I was curious, so I asked a genuine question. And I asked this person, I said, hey, why is it that I've known you for such a long time, for, over 20 years? Why is it that it seems like you're still in the same spot in life? Now, I wasn't trying to judge this person. I was genuinely curious because it seemed as though, this person has dreams and goals and things that they want to, experience and accomplish. But it felt as though they've been in the same position this entire time, working the same job at the same level, right? They weren't getting promoted or climbing up the ranks of the company doing anything else. They've just been in the same position. They've also been the same person. They've had the same personality this entire time. And my entire time of knowing this person, I've never seen them pick up a book. I've never seen them listen to an audio, get a course, any of that stuff. I've never seen them invest in themselves or search for knowledge, right? So when I asked them, why is it that your life has been the same this entire time, right, for at least the 20 years I've known this person, they looked at me and they said, it's because life is hard. And when I heard that response, I was bewildered because of my personal development journey. I understand that life is all about perspective, right? Because two people can experience the same exact event and have complete different experiences, right? Or perspectives of what happened. Two people can sit next to each other on the same roller coaster, and one person can have a blast and the other person can be screaming at the top of their lungs because they're afraid, right? Clear example right there of life being about perspective. And what you also need to understand is events that happen in life just are. They're not good or bad, they just are. But we as people place them in buckets of whether good or bad. So someone can have lived their whole life and just think that everything in life has been bad, when in actuality, you can find good in every situation, right? You can make the most out of every situation. You can. It's possible, right? Any bad event, quote unquote bad event, that's happened in your life, you can find something good about it. You can find something positive from it. So when this person said life was hard, to me, and by no means am I trying to judge this person, right? Like at the end of the day, this is their perspective, right? To me, I just didn't accept that answer because I knew that that was just an excuse. Because for the last 20 years, this person has had access to the internet. This person has had access to libraries, right? You can go get a library card and books are free at the library. But the easier alternative is the internet, because the internet can be accessed on the phone, it can be accessed on the computer, it can be accessed everywhere. So there's actually no excuse for someone to not be on a search for knowledge, right? But it seems as though this person stopped or gave up on their quest for knowledge, which explains why they've been in the same position in life for the last 20 years. And I'm going to explain to you why this is the case. So because this person was never on a quest for knowledge or information, they only knew what was already in their head. So if you only know what's already in your head, then you're only going by what you've already know, what you know and what you've already done, and you're going off of past experiences, right? Because nothing up, if you're not coming across new ideas or reflecting on life, right? Chances are you're not going to do anything differently. You're just going to do what you already know, which what you've already know has gotten you to where it is in life. And if you've never learned any new information for the last 20 years, how do you expect anything in life to change? How do you expect to do anything differently? You're just going to go off of what you know. So that was the first issue, right? That because they're not learning any new information, they cannot, it's very unlikely that they'll ever operate from a different perspective or a vantage point. That's one. Two, the other idea is about attitude. So this person, usually when you see this person, normally they have a do not disturb face and do not disturb energy, right? And that's the nice way of saying it, right? So because of this is not someone who other people want to be around, right? Because most people would prefer to be around someone that is smiling and happy and ecstatic rather than someone who's miserable. And it's simple. The reason for this is because everyone is chasing happiness. Everyone wants to be happy in life, We're all chasing happiness. That's why we're here. That's why we're put on earth, to experience outrageous joy and happiness. That is the goal. So the goal is happiness. People want to be around other people that are happy because they themselves want to be happy too. Right? I want to be around someone. When you're happy and you have the right attitude, you're excited, you're optimistic, you're feeling good, that you have pep in your step. You have infectious energy. Your personality, you become a magnetic person that people want to surround themselves with and associate with you. So if you don't ever learn new information, you're most likely not going to do anything different. And if you have a negative attitude, you're not going, like, people are not going to be around you or want to associate themselves with you, right? So those are already two reasons right there for why things have remained exactly the same. Because since this person had already given up on their quest for knowledge, they've never changed. They've been the same person for the last 20 years, right? And this person, has dreams of getting a bigger home, getting nicer things, right, et cetera, et cetera. Which, for this person, in order to get that, you need more of this paper, right? Money. And for me, I've learned about money principles over the last few weeks and months, reading financial books, because I wanted to better understand what money is, right? To have an idea so I can understand it for what it is, and so that I can understand how it all functions, right? So then it can make sense, because I never received financial literacy growing up. And as I read books on financial principles, I can clearly understand why some people, or many people, face financial troubles, or they experience financial scarcity, right? And it's for a few simple principles. The first being that most people, they want this. They want a piece of paper. What you need to understand is it's not about chasing the paper. It's about understanding what it represents, because this piece of paper, people want this. People are falling in love with this and they want this, but it's not about the paper. What this paper represents, think of this paper as being a certificate. As a certificate that you've provided value to someone other than yourself. That means that you've either sold the product to someone, or you provided them with the service, and in exchange they gave you this. So this is simply just a certificate that lets the world know, hey, I did something for someone else. So if it's not already clear, in order for you to get more of this, it requires you to get more than what you've already been receiving. It requires you to provide more value to the marketplace. It means that you either need to solve people's problems, or provide people with happiness, or improve the quality of life for other people, which in turn provides them with happiness. So if you want more of this, you need to provide value to someone other than yourself, to other people, essentially. And if you're not on a quest for learning new information, you won't ever learn or understand those financial principles. And if you have the wrong attitude, other people don't want to surround themselves with you or want to be around you. And that's bad for business, having a bad attitude. So it begins to add up and make sense why this person has been in the same situation for the past 20 years in their lives, because they have not been on a search for knowledge. They have not invested in themselves to improve themselves, to bring out the best version of themselves, and to also understand financial principles, because these financial principles, right, these are the same principles that millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires all understand. That's why if they were to be stripped of their material wealth, they can return right back to where they once were, because they understand these principles that I was never previously aware of, that I'm now aware of, that makes sense because now I see it with my own two eyes. That other people, they just think, oh, you have to work hard and, things will be better and everything in your life will turn around. It's not always about working harder. Sometimes you have to work smarter, and that can be done by investing in yourself, right? Another major financial principle that I've learned is the following statement. It goes, wealth creation is nothing more than offer. Yeah, wealth creation is nothing more than offer creation. Wealth creation is nothing more than offer creation. And I remember when I heard that, I just froze up because I'm like, it is that that's what that is. Because making an offer to someone is essentially a deal. Essentially saying, I'll provide you with this product or this service in exchange for compensation, right? And a lot of people, the only offer that they've made or accepted is the offer to work for their employer. Many people are not making offers to other people, which is why they only have one stream of income, right? And infinite ways for the income to exit because of bills, expenses, buying gifts for other people, treating yourself, vacation, etc., etc. Right? For a lot of people, that's the only offer they've ever accepted is the job offer that they're, working for their employer, right? They're not making offers for other people. Wealthy people are constantly making offers to other people, which is why they're bringing in wealth and creating wealth, right? And if you think I'm lying, I'm going to give you guys an example of this happening live. I remember my sister, she got free tickets to an event that happened in an auditorium in Radio City Music Hall, right, in New York. And it was essentially like a black panel of black entrepreneurs. And one of the panelists, or the people on stage, was a billionaire, right? Robert F. Smith. You can Google this guy. He's a billionaire. I remember him being on stage. They were talking about different ideas, different topics, and pretty much the whole consensus of like the topic of that event was about AI, right? The future in AI, artificial intelligence. So Robert F. Smith owned he operates like a software. He owns like different software companies and artificial intelligence companies. Like he's all about like software, right? He was on stage basically asking other panelists, other black entrepreneurs, do they use artificial intelligence in their businesses? So some of them responded no. So on stage, he told them, hey guys, I'll show you an AI robot, right? And then everyone started laughing. And then he, basically persisted 2 or 3 times, right? And he did it, of course, as a joke. Serious, but as a joke, right? As a joke because it got the audience laughing, but he was serious about it because he's a businessman. That's how he got to be a billionaire. And I remember at the time, I laughed as well, but I was oblivious to it because I did not have a financial or a wealth perspective at that time. But then as I began reading financial books and books about making offers, that's when I froze reading the book, because then I had the flashback to the billionaire on stage making offers to other people. And for most people, they struggle financially because they don't make offers and they don't believe that they have anything of value that they can offer to someone else, which you do, right? And if you don't think that you have anything to offer, here's an example. If you're watching this video and you made it this far, you have something to offer, right? If you understand what I'm saying, then that means you speak English. So therefore, you can help other people learn the language, the English language, because there's plenty of people who don't understand English that would love to learn English, right? If you're watching this video and you love the content here because you're big in personal development, there are plenty of people out there who want to develop themselves as well. You can literally teach people personal development and be compensated, right? Some of you say, whatever, I just play video games. Cool. There are plenty of people out there who mentor other people online in video games, because there's plenty of people who are very bad at video games that are willing to pay people to learn how to get good at video games. There are so many things that you can do, so many ways that you can provide value to other people. But oftentimes people think that the answer, the solution is so far away, right? Like the grass is green on the other side. The answer is going to be so far away when you're standing over your own acres of diamond. You are such a valuable human being. You can provide so much to the world. You yourself can change the world. But if you don't develop yourself, you don't invest in yourself, you will never believe that. You will always be in the cycle believing that you are a victim of the world and you're at the mercy of all the events that happen, without understanding and knowing that who you truly are, you have been in control this entire time, that you have power this entire time, and you have the power to change any situation, any circumstance that's unfolded in your life. You have the power to do that, right? Because that's who you are. So going back to the example with this person that I've known for such an extended period, right? It makes sense why this person has remained in the same position this entire time, because they've never learned new information and they've never improved their attitude, which explains why they've been the same person this entire time. And so because they've been the same person, they've been doing the same things and operating the same way because they never learned new information. They never went on their quest to seek knowledge. And so that's why they are the way they are. I've changed so much because I've been on a quest for knowledge and information, because I now understand, it is clear as day, that this is the actual game of life. To always be learning, because if you're not learning and growing, you are regressing. And you're probably thinking, how is that possible? Because if you remain the same person, let's take a step back. The world itself is always advancing and always improving and always moving forward. If you remain the same person, you are effectively being left behind. It's that simple, right? So this is why you have to constantly be learning and expanding your mind and growing, because that is how you push forward. And that is how you remain ahead. And that is how you continue growing and becoming the best version of yourself, by continuously going at it, by continuously searching for knowledge, continuously growing, learning new skill sets, learning about more ways that you can provide value to other people. If you want to win in life, all you need is these two things. Constantly work on yourself and improving on yourself, right? Continue investing in yourself and continue finding ways to provide value to someone other than yourself, to other people, to the world. You focus on those two things and you'll be fine. Everything will be taken care of, right? That right there is the major difference, right? That is why information changes circumstances. Because, like how I was told that there was inaction because life was hard, right? If you truly believe that life was hard, what emotion do you think you'd be experiencing? Negative emotions, anxiety, worry, depression, right? However, if you looked at your situation, even if it was hard, right? You looked at your situation and began laughing because you know that it's not representative of who you are and where you want to be and where you want to go. And you knew that it was inevitable for you to win, that you are going to get what you deserve in this lifetime. You're going to wake up excited. You're going to wake up eager, and nothing in your life has to change whatsoever. But you can have a change in attitude, and that will change it all. Because you can wake up and laugh and say, you know what, I may be broke right now, but this ain't forever. This ain't a life sentence. This is all going to change so fast in a blink of an eye, I won't even know what happened. You can have that energy. And when you have that energy and that mentality, no one can stop you. So I hope this video meant as much to you as it did for me, because this one right here, I feel like this one is the video that really sets it off, right? Explaining to you why information changes circumstances. Because when you learn new information, you can't help but to think about it, question it, and then if it makes sense, adopt it. And if it completely challenges the previous beliefs that you've had, then guess what? You'll adopt those new beliefs and begin operating as a new person. And when you begin operating as a new person, you're doing things differently, that will effectively provide you with different results. And with the different results, that is how you can change your circumstances and change your life for the better. So this is only the beginning for me. I've been, investing in myself and developing myself for a long time, but this honestly is still the beginning, and I'm going to keep pushing this as far as I can, because this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I want this to resonate with you as much as it resonates with me, because I want to see you win. I want to see you live your life. You live in a grand life. All your goals and dreams unfolding and happening, and you living your best life, and you being happy and always getting better and always improving. I want that for you. So I hope you made it this far. Hopefully you made it to the end of this video, right? If you made it to the end of this video, I need you to comment the name of this title, Information Changes Circumstances, because this was long videos, 30 minutes. But this one, I poured my soul out for you guys. So this is probably a brief cut in the video, but that's just because I just now learned that the camera only has a 30-minute recording limit, right? So I have to record the ending separately. So if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications, as I do post every single day, guys, Monday through Friday. So any and all of your support is greatly appreciated. Share this video with anyone who you want to see take that next step and that leap in life for the better. Once again, guys, it's Joel. We're on a journey to 1 million subscribers, so your support, your subscription will be greatly appreciated. So once again, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.